Happy Sunday. Welcome back to another Sunday night live show. I don't even know what we're calling these things anymore, but welcome back. We took last week off because we needed to. And this week we are back with another show. I will have the StreamYard link available for everybody that's here right now. And I'll mention it later, but we will have some panelists up if people want to. That will be part of tonight's activities. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys had a great week. Beautiful, beautiful weather week in St. Louis, Missouri. That's where I do these lives from. Shout out to the Chicago Bears. They blocked a field goal at the end of the game today. Whew. Fantastic. Makes the day just a little more sweet. Had some good family time. Had a pretty solid week in the gig economy and otherwise. So happy to end the week with you guys. If you're new here, I'm your host, Mr.BetonYou. We do live shows just about every Sunday at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. We do panel shows where I have guests come up and talk about certain topics that I have on my mind or that they have on their mind. We have one of the best live chats around. A lot of great questions being answered, a lot of side conversations happening in those lives. So if you're wanting to be a part of that, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel, be a subscriber for 5 minutes, and you can actually type live for free in the live chat. Anybody can come in and join the live show via the StreamYard link that I'll drop at some point. Momentarily, a few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It just depends. I usually give a little bit of an intro to the show. And everybody, I appreciate y'all for being here. Hit that thumbs up button as well. Consider sharing it, sharing the content with people that you think might get quality from it. So, a week in review. Pretty solid week this week. A few caterings. Instacart was the #1 earning app that we had this week. A little bit of Uber, just a few roadies. So pretty light work. I mean, pretty good week. I think the total in earnings was almost $1,200. So not a great earnings week necessarily. Worked 5 days this week, but pretty solid for me. I'll take it. Now, I have a topic because I talked about it this week in the video, and then I'll also have. Babe?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
I'm just feeding the cat.
Oh, sorry. Got interrupted by Mrs. Madison. You want to say hi?
I'm good.
Hi. You don't want to say hi?
Hello.
Anyway, so we did a video topic this week talking about the automation, robotics, the drones. Oh, there she is. Oh Lord, she actually said hi. Look at that. All the guys in the chat can go, who's that girl? Shout out to Madison. So listen, I want to talk about that this week because I made a video. I referenced it this week. I made a video like probably 3.5 years ago or more, right? And I said that I didn't think it was really going to impact us. And I mostly stand by that. However, as the months go and the years go, we're starting to see more opportunities taken away from people like you and I because of automation. So that's going to be one of the topics today. At what point will they take your job, your opportunity? How worried are you about it? What are you seeing in your marketplace? Because different cities, depending on demographic and population and the amount of money they want and resources they want to use in that city, you might have been seeing this already, right? And I've been to 3 Curb events in downtown LA. I've met people, the movers and shakers, the decision makers that are part of this. I've met many of them. So I do have firsthand case knowledge of what these people are talking about, what they're building towards. And every year that event gets bigger. And I believe at some point in our lifetimes, we're going to see this happen. And it's coming even faster than maybe you even have thought or that I have thought, because technology, software, these things are moving extremely fast. So I'll use some examples as we talk about this today. Let me say hi to everybody in chat. Appreciate y'all. Everybody say hi to Madison. She made an impromptu appearance. That's very rare on this channel. So, all right, let me see who's here today. All right. We go to the top, say what's up. Lenora, Blue Wolf. I see my man Juan's in the house. Kevin Mango, Sergeant at Arms of the channel. What's up? Michael Lee. I see Nomadic, not in our lifetime. Robots will not go upstairs. So they can't replace us, Ceci, completely. But year over year, they will take a percentage of what opportunities we see. That's just a fact. It's happening already. Will they be able to deliver everything? Absolutely not. But will they take opportunities away? Yeah, and I'm going to get into that a little bit today as well. My said Manny, what's up, brother? How are you? I see Chief Talk, Richard, Gigabyte 12, Gigabyte. Kevin, what's up? Canada Club, what up? Adventure One, what up? Just unplug all robots. Yeah, hey, I hear that. How's everyone doing tonight? Yeah. Let's see who else we got in here. Reed, what's up? Make sure I say hi to everybody that's typed in the chat. Give you guys a little love here. Reed Jones, all right. See, Real Talk Roy, what's up? JB Work Life, what's up? Richard, what's up? Trying to say hi to everybody. I think I got everybody. AMC, what's up, brother? Frugal D, what's up? Been a minute. Good to see you. I have robots in my market. Yeah, I know you got them out there for sure. I haven't seen any in St. Louis the way that I've seen in LA and Colorado and where else? I was somewhere else and I've seen them. Chicago. Let me say this. I appreciate y'all for being here. I will have the streamer link provided. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. It's definitely happening. So I want to reference something. I want us to think about this. I want you to go back 20 years ago. So we'll call it 20. Let's just go back to the year 2000. So that's 25 years. Just as a reference point. The year 2000. Things were extremely different when it comes to food delivery. So think about what's changed in 25 years. Pandemic had a lot to do with that, a big part of that, and that's just in the last 5 years, right? But just think about 25 years ago, things that you were able to have delivered to your home was very, very few things. Chinese food, pizza, certain groceries, yeah, but on a very small, it was not normal, okay? And no automation was really involved at all, at least in the States, on the level that we're seeing now or how it's being imagined or reimagined. Think about your phone in the year 2000. Most of you that watch this channel, you were an adult at that point, or maybe you were a young adult, or maybe you were, you remember the year 2000. That's the year I graduated high school, 25 years ago. The phones that we had, the technology that we had, the Microsoft Windows and the spread, like it was not what it is right now. A lot's changed. You can go back just 10 years, a lot's changed. But if we're going to go 25 years, think about if I would have told you, you would have been watching movies, making full-length videos. The cameras would be amazing on your phone. Everything's on your phone. You could order anything on your phone. You could watch anything live on your phone. If I would have told you that 25 years ago, most of you would have looked at me like, that's crazy. What? I'm going to watch TV shows on my phone? That's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to order McDonald's and have it delivered, and I can get that every day. I can get it at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. Like, you would have looked like, you would have been thinking I was a liar. I imagine if we go 25 years from now, I want you to think about how food delivery will change and delivery jobs. 25 years from now, most of what we do will not be an option for us. That's my stance. Now, 25 years is a long time. Most of us, a lot of us, might be not even around anymore. Right? And I'm hoping you're not delivering food 25 years from now, because there's not going to be that opportunity. Most of the experts, the people that I've talked to at Herbivore events, they say 5 to 10 years, the landscape of what we do and how we make money will change in extreme measures. And that's just 5 and 10 years. If you go 25 years, it's not this at all. Now, yeah, they're not delivering 8 cases of water to the top floor, but that doesn't mean that the apps won't reimagine how those deliveries are delivered. And I want to add one more thing before we get into some other things, before the StreamYard link is ready. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate the 53 people that are watching. Imagine this as well, something to think about. And this isn't me worried. You shouldn't be worried. There's still a lot of money, a lot of opportunities for us to make money. But I think it's a fun conversation because we can look back on this, those that are still doing this work or those that are still just interested in autonomy, robotics, drones. People are like, oh, they're going to, drones get, shot out of the sky, and people, food's already being delivered by that, guys. There are a lot of college campuses that have tested this for 10, 15 years. Golf courses that typically have the drink ladies on the golf cart girls and the guys that deliver. They have drones delivering those drinks to the guys at certain tee boxes. Like that, those things have been happening, right? But think about it like this. You go out to turn on the apps tomorrow. and in your marketplace, there's 100 people that have DoorDash on at any given time. I think 100 in a lot of places is probably a realistic number. Okay, so it's 100 people that have on that app for DoorDash, for Uber, for Instacart, for whatever app. Okay, out of those 100, they're all seeing opportunities. Everybody's seeing opportunities. Sometimes it may take you 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes you see an opportunity every 20, 30 seconds, right? The opportunities that you're seeing, the $2, the $10, the $3, the $6, the $7, the $2 plus $12 plus this, all those opportunities that you're seeing, most of the time, they're being bounced around from driver to driver, or you accept, you decline, and then whatever you do, it takes you down a certain path. When automation comes available, and when drones are there, and when there's robots, or in the places and marketplaces like AMC just said, and other places that I've referenced, when there's an opportunity for a gig company or a merchant to have things facilitated through a drone, through a robot, through a different type of pickup, it takes away an opportunity from you. So that small $2 and $3 order that you wouldn't take anyway, because most of you aren't taking those. If anybody takes $2, $3 orders, let me know in the chat. What's your minimum? Put that in the chat, okay? That $2 order now from McDonald's, from Starbucks, from whatever, right? Because they're not going to be able to do the big ones. They're not doing these big orders that you and I love to do, right? That's where the money is mostly, the large subtotals. Those small ones now go to a robot versus going to eventually the driver, your competition, the person you're competing against in your marketplace. So now that driver that's already saturating your marketplace, instead of them doing the $2 and $3 to $4 Starbucks order, that's not even an opportunity for them. The robot took it, the drone took it, whoever. So now the app has to send the driver that would have taken a small order that's trash. The app has to send them something, just like it has to send you something. Hence, there's less opportunity. So when I talk about when will they take our jobs, it's a play on words. It's already happening. It's happening right now. And I think a lot of us in some places don't realize it because we're just assuming it's saturation, it's slow, people this. Some of the opportunities are being taken away from robots right now. Maybe not in your market yet, but if it's in 50 cities around the country, that means it'll be in 100 next year and then 150 the year after that. That's how fast this stuff is moving. Once again, this is not to scare you. I'm not telling you to get a new job. No, money will be there, but this is like a slow death. It's a slow burn, right? This is a death by 1,000 cuts. This is what the gig economy is becoming. You start it, you can work, it's good. Some of y'all have been here forever. And it can be really good. I've been doing it 5 years. It's been good for me. No complaints when it comes to money. Overall, I might complain about certain opportunities, certain things that happen, but at the end of the day, I still stay in it. I would not stay in it if there was no money to be made. But think about it like this. Let me rephrase it and reframe it for you, okay? I think sometimes we only think we're impacted by what we can see on a day-to-day basis. And what we see is other drivers, less opportunity, $2, $3. What we don't know is the moves that these companies are making, the plans that they have. Now, we see stories. I read a story this week. We see articles. We go to a Herbivore event. We talk to somebody in another town and say, I saw these robots on this college campus or in downtown LA. And we hear about it, but we don't see it every day. We don't realize what's really what the billions of dollars are pumping into this technology. Why are they doing it? Easy. They want to have as many ways to have people get things delivered to them. And the companies know we don't like the $2, $3 orders, and if they have to if they have to turn a $2 into a $4 or $5 or a $10 because for whatever reason it costs them more money. So they'll use their investors and their stock people and their whatever, right? They'll go into more debt to team up with companies that can have this technology on their app so that they don't have to pay us. Eventually, there are some people out there that think they want to go as much autonomy as possible. I'm going to give you one more example. I'll say hi to you guys. Appreciate y'all. Hit the thumbs up. Don't be shy. StreamYard link will be available soon. There's a chain of grocery stores in St. Louis, and we're really in Missouri in the Metro East. They're in parts of Illinois as well, called Schnucks. Schnucks is a local brand. Schnucks is a family. They've been doing business here for, it could be 80 years. I don't know, a long time. They're just in Illinois and like St. Louis, okay? Missouri. They do well. And over the years, the last 8-9 years, they've changed the way that they do business like a lot of places. A lot of self-checkouts. Less staff. As far as cashiers go, they shift their labor and their costs to other ways. They just bought a chain of grocery stores to expand 2 weeks ago. Spent a lot of money. These companies, big ones, $1 billion ones, $100 million ones, upstarts, everything that most of them do is, how do I keep my labor down, my cost down, which most of your cost in most businesses is your labor, especially in the food industry, the service industry. Labor is the number one cost. How do we keep that down year over year? How do we pay them less? How do we cut jobs? That's what all these companies are, cutting jobs. A lot of them are. And then the money that Schnucks spent, the hundreds of millions of dollars they spent over the last 10, 15 years is coming back to them now. That's how they got the money to pay for this expansion. Uber and DoorDash and all these other apps, they're going to do, and they are doing the same thing. You are being replaced. And a lot of people don't like when I say that. Oh my God, I'm still fine, Pedro. They can't deliver to the third floor. I hear you. But I want you to think about a lot of these apartment complexes, these loft styles, these schools that are turned into apartments, and these reimagined, you go into a lot of these places, they have Amazon lockers. You walk in, you can't even go up this, you can't even go up. It's like, leave it on this table, leave it in the mail room, leave it in this. New buildings that are being built, that's how they're building it, with those kind of lockers or those setups already. And over the course of time, it'll be to where we don't have to go take the elevator or the stairs to the third floor. So if we don't have to, neither will the robot, neither will the drone. Does that make sense? Once again, this isn't a scare. This is just something to talk about. And I'd like to get your opinion on it as well. Who else do we got in here tonight? Let me see. Let's see. Delivering to hospitals can be hell. Oh, yeah, that's not fun at all. 35 people. New record. Appreciate that, Adventure One. Hospitals. Yeah, I know, right? Let's see. What else we got? I don't know who's deleting comments here, but I don't know what's going on here. There's some trolls in the house. Well, at least they subscribed, I guess. But yeah, YouTube doesn't like the trolls. What is going on here? Let's see. I don't know what that means. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah, Roy, I think that's a good point. I think we do have to be careful of companies. They'll say anything they can for people to invest in them and to buy their company, but it's working in real time. I've been in a Waymo. I think the rideshare industry will be impacted quicker than the food delivery, but it's happening. I think we got to remember, a lot of us are old. We don't like, we're becoming, hey, get off my lawn, young man. I don't like that. In my day, I used to walk to school in 20 foot of snow with a hot potato in my hand to keep me warm. I get it, but the world's changing. We might not like it, but that's the fact, right? But I think that's a good point. All right, let's see. Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said the human drivers will likely lose work to self-driving cars. That will be a real issue, he said. Absolutely. It's already becoming that, right? I like to talk about these things because we need to be years ahead of this, right? Doesn't mean opportunities are being taken away right now, every single day. Not on a level that's going to impact your money, but it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's these little paper cuts, these little nicks. And eventually you're going to, if you stay in this long enough, you're going to look at yourself like, damn, I'm about to bleed out here. Like, this is crazy. Like, it's, and that's what's happening. Most of us year over year aren't going to make more money. You're seeing less opportunity. And the saturation isn't just people. It's not just migrants. It's not just people with illegal accounts. It's not just this. It's not just bots. It's literally the companies and autonomy to replace you. We've seen it in a lot of other sectors. When was the last time you were in a Taco Bell, a McDonald's? That McDonald's used to have 12 people working in it. You walk into a McDonald's right now, there's 4 or 5 people working. That you can see maybe 1 or 2 back there doing, that's happening. And it doesn't happen like overnight necessarily, but they put the kiosk in, takes away the front cash register. I mean, have you guys ever been to a restaurant where the thing that brings out your food is a little robot and it's a tray? Have you seen it? I've seen it. It was weighted. I've seen it. So these things are happening. Companies are looking to figure out a way to spend money up front, put it on their books and finagle the numbers, and then have less labor cost. A lot of people right now don't want to work. The pandemic had a lot to do with that. They reimagined the kind of work they want to do, ways of making money without going into an office. Like the government's involved with some of that. Like there's a lot has changed in 5 years. A lot's changed in 25 years. If you go back to the year 2000, things are very, very different. All right. Let's see. People know. April, what up? Nomadic says, not true. I'm making more and more every year. Absolutely. There's definitely a lot of outliers out there, right? I would. This is how I would say that. I worked at a casino, right? So if you have 10,000 people that go to River City Casino today, pretty accurate number. 10,000 people went to River City Casino today to gamble. Okay, 100 of those people won. So if you talk to the 100 people that won money, walked out with like a couple extra $100, they had a great experience. And every time they go, they're really good and they usually win. But the 99% people lose. I mean, the gig economy is a lot like that. I do believe that. I believe that with every fiber in my being. I believe that with every grain of my soul. There's definitely a gamification and a gambling with this type of work. That's how I look at it. I think there's a small percentage that year over year can make more money, but also sometimes it's just we're either working more or we got a new app, and that's great. But most people that do this year over year are losing money, because sometimes you might make 50 G's, 60 G's in the gig world. If you're full time, you can make 50, 60,000 full time pretty easily in a lot of markets, right? And for a lot of people, that's really, really good money, right? But if you had to work an additional 10 hours per week to do that, you didn't make more money. You just had to work more, right? There's different ways of looking at it, but I hear what you're saying. Okay. RT to Brent says, is gigging the new pyramid scheme with the tiers? I don't know about that. Not a pyramid scheme. You're trading your time for money. That's all it is. I'm going to drop the link for you guys. If anybody wants to talk about this, provide me some insight. What do you think? For me, 5 to 10 years, our work will be drastically different in major metropolitan areas. More rural, smaller cities like St. Louis might not be impacted as much, but places like downtown LA, parts of New York, other places like up and coming cities where the infrastructure is being more built up and reimagined, it'll happen there as well, right? New city contracts coming in where we have this, we can do this, we have to drone. Like, I believe 5 to 10 years is going to be very different. 25 years from now, your job will cease to exist on the level that you're doing it right now. It will be gone. Now, listen, I could be wrong. I don't have any insider information, but the people I've talked to, the experts, what I've seen, when you compare it to other things that are similar as far as technology goes and the way that we as consumers prioritize things, because we're going to continue to prioritize things being delivered. If you even look at Amazon, they got self-driving trucks and all this stuff. Like most of the packages, you got some form of driver, gig worker, or not. But they're reimagining that as we speak, right? I'm going to drop this link for you guys real quick. See if anybody wants to come up and join the show. Appreciate the 68 people in the box. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate y'all very much. So let me go ahead and do this real quick and provide the link for y'all. Happy Sunday. It's been a beautiful week. All right. Let me go down here. Okay. So there it is. I'm going to go ahead and pin it right now just in 1 second. Let me pin it for you guys. I've stated my case. Anybody wants to talk about it, please feel free to join the show. Let me go ahead and pin this here. Pin message. So the top of the live chat, if you're new here, that's where you can join the show. I'll give you guys a few minutes to see if anybody wants to come in. If nobody wants to come in, then you just get to hear me blabber all night. Pedro, when are you going to run for? I would be horrible as a congressman. I'm good on that. I ain't got time for that. Ain't no robots anywhere except LA, period. Actually, that's not true. I think some of y'all need to get out a little bit more. Canna Club Chicago says tech overlords will hail supreme, Overlord Musk, Overlord Bezos, Overlord, yeah. Blue Wolf, I don't even know how to say that. That is RJ Freud, what up, what up? Appreciate all the channel members in the building. Evening, what up, what up? That's for if you want to join the show. You can click on that link if you have a mobile device or if you're on your laptop, and you could StreamYard link in, and I can put you in the show. You got to show your face, and you can talk about this topic that we had tonight. If you have something else like going on in your mind, or if you have questions, you can bring that up as well. Scott Leon says, what app do you use to track your miles? Solo. Actually, let me put this up here real quick. Solo is a friend of the show. I don't even think I have that up anymore. Here it is. Bam. Oh, hold up. Oh, I can't do that anymore. Can I not? Anyway, Solo. If you go check out some of my videos, you can sign up for it. I got it in the description box in some of those videos. All right. Mr.BetonYou, why Torp be saying you? Everybody say hi to Torp. Hi. Anytime, any place, Torp. I'm ready for you. All right. Mindset Manny. I see Kevin. Who else we got? Anybody else waiting? I see AMC. We'll give you guys another 30 seconds. Everybody else wants to join up. I use QuickBooks to track my miles. QuickBooks is good. I've used it before for different things, but not the mileage. I've used it before to track other forms of financing and things like that. So QuickBooks is pretty dope, though. A couple years since I've used it. Buy your Tesla to rent for DoorDash while you sleep? Oh, okay. Maybe. All right. QuickBooks is good, though. Yeah, Jeff Roy is in the house. What up, what up? Weeble, Bitmer, yeah, I know all that's yeah. I'm not into. There's a lot of conspiracies about like that kind of stuff. You know, the gentleman that you named. You know, it's always been like that. You know, back in the day, you know, turn of the century, you had the Rockefellers and the DuPonts, and you had all the other. You know, it's always somebody, something that has the latest either technology or service or business that people in this country demand, and those are usually your top earners, usually with real estate moguls, you know, the Buffetts of the world. But right now it's technology is a thing, and it's going to continue to grow. And I believe this sector, what we do, we are extremely easily replaceable. And then a lot of us will choose to just go into other, you know, retail or back to food or another kind of hustle. Like, we'll all be okay for our lifetime. I think by the time my daughter's my age, the way this world will be so very different. I do believe that. So if anybody wants to talk about that, we can talk about that too. All right, so I see AMC screen went black. I don't know where he went. Kevin, I don't know where you went. You can go ahead and come back. I see Mindset Manny. There you go. Okay. I got 3 guys waiting. I see Manny, AMC. I see Roy. I'm going to bring all these guys up at the same time. Manny, what's up, bro?
What's good, man? How you doing, man?
Chilling, man. I'm blessed, man. Good to see you. AMC, what's up, brother?
What's good, AMC?
AMC's in the building. And Real Talk with, is that Real Talk with Roy? Can't tell.
There you go.
Yeah, Roy, can you hear us? Give me a thumbs up.
Yep, I can hear you.
He's there. Got it. Okay. And then Kevin's waiting in the background, but his screen is just white, so I don't know what's going on. He'll just have to wait a minute. So I'll start with Manny. We'll go to AMC and then Roy. What do you guys think about software, technology, drones, robots? Obviously, it's not happening now, but on a scale of 1 to 10, in 10 years from now, how worried are you about the topic of robotics in food delivery and rideshare game? I'll start with Manny first.
Well, with me, man, you just have to adapt. If that does start affecting it, you just have to go with the flow. You might have to invest in robotics. You might have to start. We might have to figure it out. It's a niche. Things happen in all different type of markets. Technology is gonna affect not just the gig economy, but it affects other people's jobs everywhere, and everybody got to figure it out. So that's just the way the world has been working. Technology has taken jobs before this. So that's my mindset toward it. You feel what I'm saying?
AMC, what
But
do you think?
okay.
So you said you're asking the question was 1 to 10 how worried I am about it.
Yeah, 10 years from now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried would you be about this impacting your earnings 10 years from now?
So, all right, if I was working it the way I was working it now, I mean, 5, 10 years from now, being worried about it, like this is an inevitability that I think we have to accept. But there's a lot of variables that I don't think you're considering when you're talking about this. Um, it's no knock to you. I'm just saying, like, I hear it from you and I hear it from a couple other YouTube channels that
Mm-hmm.
I casually listen to every now and then. I'll be like, oh, that's a good point, or like they'll keep me updated on something. But like Kim or something, like Kim, dude, sometimes, she has like almost nothing to tell me that's new, but she keeps me up to date on news. Besides the point though, I live here, I'm in Jersey City. We're like one of the most densely populated areas in the country, right? So is Hoboken, so is Hudson County overall. Now, New York doesn't have these robots currently. And it's interesting that we got it first. When you think about it, here we have wide sidewalks and we don't have the same kind of pedestrian traffic that we might have in New York, right? But it brings up something else too. Is like, we got the TLC commission as well, that it looks like they're averse to a lot of the autonomous vehicles happening in New York, right? Because they are going to lose their jobs essentially. And then we also have blue politicians that are, fighting for workers and everybody deserves a shot and all this other stuff that might get in the way of these companies going full autonomous, however that would play out. But bro, there's a lot of traffic out here. Okay. There's a lot of foot traffic as well. And so far, the way people have accepted these robots and they take pictures with them. They like them a lot because the alternative is like a middle-aged man on an e-bike honking to get out of your way when they're on the sidewalk, right? So they don't like that. There's like this big thing about an e-bike crisis. People are tired of the e-bikes because these guys don't know how to drive, and I don't blame them. But now we have robots getting in the way of the middle of traffic. I've seen them like spin around in circles. Look, this is what they look like.
Yeah, I
So
see them.
there's times, bro. There's times they go in circles. They get stuck. People have to walk around them. I find them kind of like a nuisance, especially on a bike. Like they kind of get in my way because I can't predict where they're going. With a person, I could tell, like, all right, I could tell his pace. I could tell where he's going. All right, he's probably about to cross the street. Let me brake a little bit. But with the robot, I don't know if it sees me or not. I can't tell, right? But I'm not entirely averse to it. Do I think it's hit my earnings? Not really, because it's only on Uber Eats, and I'm running like 5 different apps at the same time on a bike. So, is there a difference? I mean, there's another thing too. It's like a lot of the people that order food, they're ordering from high rises. Okay, most of these people don't care. They'll tip if it means the food's gonna arrive at their door and they don't have to come downstairs. If they're already coming downstairs, bro, and they're a 3 block radius away from where they're gonna get food, why even bother ordering, bro? So there's like a political thing behind this where you got Democrats that are going to be like, hey man, we can't just throw these drivers out. It's going to happen whether I show up and say something about it or not. Then you have people that live in high rises. There's the congestion of people and traffic overall. And if we're gonna sit here and be like, oh well, everything's gonna be cheaper, well, it hasn't been cheaper, bro. They're still getting the 30% commission from the restaurants, and the only thing they get to save is the gratuity. So how are we winning, bro? I mean,
Mm.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure how this is gonna play out, but I don't think it's gonna be like a light's gonna turn on in 5 years, and everyone's gonna be like, all right, well, we're just gonna wait 45 minutes to my food to get here, like, and I have to go downstairs and get it. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how that's gonna play out, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it's just like a flip, a switch gets flipped, and then we got no orders. I don't think
I
it's
think
like
it's
that.
gonna be I think it's gonna be a cultural change. And I'm not sure how people, I don't know, like right now, again, everybody loves them because they're helping out, I guess. They're taking orders. They are. But
Mm.
and everyone's sick of V-bikes. Uh but I think it's gonna be more than anything, it's gonna be a cultural change. But bro, there's people out there ordering these robots and they're waiting 45 minutes for their food. And I mean, the orders, the food's like an hour, like a mile and a half away, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
and then what are we gonna have too, bro? We're gonna have drones. Okay, we're gonna throw drones in the city, and right now, as it stands, we can't even hear. Everybody's complaining about helicopters. Now we're gonna have drones delivering food out here.
Well, no, it's not that we already have that.
We're
It's
gonna have
happening.
drones. We're gonna have drones flying over the city all
No, we
day and
have
night.
that. No, what I'm saying is that's happening. Just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. I'm gonna
I
say
agree. I hear you.
Yeah. I'm saying it's happening. It's
I
not
hear you,
on a
but we're gonna
scale
have that
like,
here. We're gonna have that here in Jersey City. We're gonna have that in New York. Drones
Yes.
flying all day. Shoo,
Yes.
shoo, shoo, shoo.
Yes. Listen, I could be
we'll see,
wrong,
bro.
but I think that's definitely where we're heading in our lifetime. Roy, what do you think about this?
Go ahead.
No, it's not. For one, we don't even have the infrastructure for all these robots and cars that you have people all day long driving and crashing into each other, let alone cars that don't have no drivers. And being here in Vegas, I've seen any autonomous car has always got people in it. They don't ever trust those cars out here that I have seen without people in them. Because anybody that's been on the strip on a Friday, Saturday, or night, that car's not going to go nowhere. That car's going to stay put because you got people jumping in the middle of the road. They're not going to be able to go nowhere. People crossing the road constantly. Even when you're in a car as a human driver, you can't get through a lot of times because people will just run in front of you. So those cars will just stay stagnant. As far as the robots delivering food, we already see that in LA. These people attack these robots on the regular, stealing the food out of the robots, breaking the robots, sitting on the robots, riding the robots, doing all kinds of stupid stuff to the robots. So the amount of money that it would take to integrate all these things into robots and all this stuff, and I don't think these companies are willing to spend that kind of money. When they got people that are willing to take $2 orders, why are they going to pay $250,000 for a robot to do it when they got a person that'll do it for $2? It is, in my opinion, as far as the companies goes, it's not financially a financial thing for the company to do that's going to be profitable. You got to fix these cars. Let's say you do Rideshare. You took your YMO car. We saw you. What happens when somebody pukes in that car? That car's done. That car's done. So there's one car off the road. And let's look at Vegas. Drunk people all day long, all night long. Could you imagine people throwing up in the car? You got people, that'll steal the cars, try to steal the cars, do all kinds of stuff. And so as a society, we're too ignorant to, in my opinion, to live in that kind of society where we would have robots doing everything for us. I can see you integrating it in certain areas, rural areas, for example, wouldn't be a bad idea but right now, everything we see is anomalies because it's in the testing phase. And sooner or later, it's just going to be one of those things that they're just going to give up on. We've been seeing autonomous cars for 10 years now. We're going to have, we were supposed to have automatic cars fucking 10 years ago, supposedly. And they still ain't reliable and they still ain't coming out there. So as far as taking away people's jobs, it's going to take away some people's job. Yeah. But as far as the gig work, no, because you got stuff like Jackrabbit. You ain't going to get a robot showing up your home to put your dresser together. You're not going to get a robot over there mowing your grass. You're not going to get those kind of things. So certain apps, you're not going to get that. You're not going to be able to get a robot to do a catering order. You're not going to get that kind of stuff. You're not going to, like he's saying, you got people living 4 flights of stairs. You ain't going to find who's got other than China, who has a robot that can climb stairs, not to mention carrying heavy items like groceries and stuff like that. So that to me, I don't think people are fucking lazy. They don't even want to come down when you do it. Now, what makes you think they want to come down when a robot's doing it? Because most likely the robot's going to be, I can leave it at the bottom of the deck. They're going to be tripping and shit because they have to walk down the stairs and grab their own stuff. So I don't see it. Like I said, some rural areas maybe, but as far as like cities like Las Vegas, probably New York, that shit ain't going to work. We just don't have the infrastructure for it. Well, we see. Go ahead.
This is what I would say to that. I was in 5 Waymos when I was in LA. I took 5 of them. Okay. And do I think it's like taking away opportunities on a level that's really impacting most of us? No, I think most of the competition and how we're impacted is another new driver coming on the platform. I think that impacts us more on a day-to-day basis, right? That situation hit. But like the 5 Waymos that I took away 5 job earnings from drivers that 3 days I was there. And that was just me getting into Waymos. There was other people I was with that got Waymos, other people taking Waymos. I saw them all over the place, right? So it's happening. And I think, in my opinion, what we got to remember is you reference people are lazy. That's true. But the workforce in this country, in some manners, has gotten lazier too, especially when you think about this service industry. And you think about like the kind of work that we do, and we're in the service industry. The companies know that. They have a hard time like hiring good people, retaining them, training them. People don't want to work. I think we can all agree. Like we work, but a lot of people do not want to work, especially the young generation. They value right now, kids that are younger and young adults, they value time off, vacation, traveling, more than the white picket fence and I need to buy a house by I'm 30 and I gotta have kids. Kids aren't having kids anymore. Like it's the world and how people look at money and how they work is changing. Companies know that. That's why I think the autonomy and the robots, it's coming. Somebody said it in chat a minute ago. It's already here, right? And I think we don't see it every single day. Like if I didn't go to the 2 cities I went to, right? That I saw them, I wouldn't be as abrupt to talk about it, but it's here. Like the Waymos that I took, I had no problems, no issues. It saved me some money. There's no tipping, and I'm somebody that is going to tip, right? And I think once consumers get accustomed and kind of used to it a little bit, and it takes away like the awkwardness or whatever. And yeah, it's 45 minutes, like AMC said, but 5 years from now, it might only be 20 minutes for get a delivery, right? Because they're more reliable. They don't have to go to sleep. They don't have to turn the app off. Will we have accidents, people damaging? Sure. We've seen that. But I think at some point it becomes the new norm in a lot of places. And I think some of these cities that are testing it out, Roy, I think you said in Vegas they have actual humans in them, they probably have to do that for maybe there's like some regulations. But like once it's proven, there's money behind it. And these companies are going to pay the politicians to sign the things that allow them to go into the cities. That's happening right now.
Yeah, but they've been so-called proven for 10 years now, and they're still just now barely getting the shit moving. And like you said, we don't have the infrastructure for it. We'll take drones, for example. Drones in a rural area, probably not an issue. You ain't flying no drones around in New York City. I'm sorry.
Bro,
you got power lines. You got all kinds of other aircraft flying around. Same thing with Vegas. We have specific areas you're not allowed to fly drones. You are restricted from any kind of drone. Now, can Amazon pay off the politicians to open it up? Sure.
Yeah. New laws can be written,
Yeah, of course. So you have to get the infrastructure, I think, first before you can go full balls to the wall with it. And like I said, certain areas, it's just not going to work, in my opinion. You said people are lazy, but people are also destructive now. I saw somebody in the chat said Japan has hotels that are fully automated. You're looking at a different culture. You're talking of a culture of respect. Americans don't respect dick. We've already seen that. Sorry, my language. I'm trying to be cool with no cussing. But Americans don't respect anything. They don't even respect a human driver, let alone a car, by itself. You don't think they'll destroy a car? You don't think they're going to do that kind of stuff? I think, and also I think the robot is making us less and less as a normal society where you don't have to talk to people anymore. We already got people like that. They're scared to talk, scared to go outside, scared to do everything, scared of their own shadows. And I think that's bad for a society when you're like, oh, I don't want to have to talk to nobody. I don't want to have to talk to my neighbor. You know, that's bad for a society. That's why I think our country is really jacked up now, because nobody can come together and do anything because everybody's right, everybody's this, everybody, you know. So I don't know.
I think that's a really good point. I want to get Manny's perspective too, and then back to AMC in a minute. But let me say this: I think that's a good point. But we got to remember, this younger generation of kids and young 20s, millennials, and then like the younger one after the next one coming up. I don't know what those are called, but like the way that they socialize with the phones and everything, it's different than you and I, Roy and Manny and AMC, maybe other people, right? It's different. Like we used to go outside, come home when the street light comes on. Like kids don't do that anymore. Not like how we did, at least.
That's because most of us grown up with two parents in the household that taught your kids right from fucking wrong. Let's be honest.
But my point is, the reality is, kids are growing up different, and they're growing up with phones in their hand, everything at their disposal. They're growing up walking into a McDonald's where they know how to order on the kiosk. I see it every day. My daughter's 4. She could go in and order her little meal on the kiosk if I wanted her, and that's normal to her. She didn't know any different, right? And we go to other places, she orders her Chick-fil-A, there's a counter person there, you know. But like, what I'm saying is the younger generation, that's going to be their normal. So 25 years from now, 25 years from now, it will be very different, I believe. I think the landscape, if we're still around, is going to be very different than it is right now. We won't know any different. Like, think about my grandma, when she came here from Puerto Rico, like the things that are happening right now were not happening then.
Yeah.
Right. And when she goes out of her building, she looks at the world now, it's like a whole new world in some capacities, right? Manny, why don't you go ahead and chime in, man? You got anything else on this topic?
Well, no, I kind of agree with you. I've said that around my own house, like that is true. Like it is the younger generation that's gonna push this more than we are. And like you said, in 25 years, it is gonna be a lot different. That's how I do feel. I feel everything you're saying because, like you said, the way technology is working, like stuff, like I mentioned in your chat already. I don't think I'll ever get into a goddamn car. I'm sorry, curse. with no damn driver, but my kid will.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'll feel crazy as heck getting in the car with no driver. Right now, you that car pull up, I look like you keep moving. You get what I'm saying? But my child or like a young, no, they gonna try that out. They gonna want to Instagram that. Oh, I'm in here with no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm looking like, no, man, if something go wrong, you know. So I kind of agree with that, you know. Technology is moving. It is the younger generation that's gonna push these things, these things that you're talking about. Like he's right. And I do agree with Roy too. Right now, that ain't gonna happen because, like you said, the way we are. But through time, and that is what you're saying, and that's why it's gonna happen. Because right now we don't have the infrastructure, and right now, you know, the world is crazy upside the head. We're not used to these things. But about 10 years from now, because you got them out, like he was saying, people are taking pictures with these things now. It's becoming the norm. You get what I'm saying? Like you could walk some places, like he was saying, he's in the street and he already know that this bot is here. He don't know if the bot can see him, you know what I'm saying? But that's now. 5 years from now, you're gonna understand that thing. It's gonna understand you. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna more of them gonna be out there. Now the drones in the sky, I don't know about it. I don't know how they're gonna infrastructure that because that's you're gonna have to actually go somewhere for that thing to drop it off to you. Mm-hmm. It's you know, like you said, high rise and stuff. Maybe the homes to an actual house that might be okay, but like you said, high rise and stuff. I don't know how they're gonna do that. That's gonna take a while. You know, these people gonna have to come out of their house and go to a designated area for that drone to drop that off.
Yeah. Let me read this comment real quick from Cerberus. Every day I get an offer for drone delivery position. It's here and they are scaling it out various markets. It's not going to wipe out drivers, but going to reduce the opportunities. I completely agree with that. That's kind of my stance. It's not going to, for those of us that are still going to choose to be doing this 5-10 years from now, whatever, like there's still going to be opportunity, but that's going to be part of the saturation issue because now we're going to have more competition for the deliveries. And for me, I think the most impactful thing is now the drivers that were taking the trash orders, a drone can take trash. So now your competition is the other driver that's still in your market. You're competing for better orders now.
But I think you're wrong in that respect. I think, to be honest with you, they're going to take the more expensive orders because remember, they got to pay for that technology. Those drones aren't going to be cheap. So in my opinion, they'd rather save the doo-doo orders for the actual drivers themselves. In my opinion, I think that would make more sense. If I own the company, if I personally own the company, I'm taking all the high dollar because I got to put the money back into my investment, which is the robots and the technology. That would be what I would do if I owned the company. So it could lead to the fact that you bitch and complain. You see doo-doo orders now. You might be seeing mega doo-doo orders. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. AMC, you had something to say?
Yeah, man, I had a question. Like, bro, why haven't there's so many lines of service work currently in our country that, for example, when the pandemic closed everything down, became essential. Okay, why haven't waiters become autonomous?
They have. I went to a restaurant. There's a restaurant called Walnut Grill. It's on Watson.
And you go there, you go on the tablet, boom, 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 and it just brings it right to your table?
Nope. So you can go and order from the table, like a lot of places, the little QR code, and then a little robot comes out, and on the robot it has a number, like let's say number 40, because there's somebody in the back on the expos putting that tray on the robot, and that's my table 40, and it comes out and it comes to your table, and you grab it off the robot, and that's it. That's
what was the occasion? What was the occasion? Like, were you out with your family?
It was me and
you brought your daughters out.
Me, Madison, and Ruby. This was probably maybe about a year ago. That restaurant's still open right now in St. Louis, Missouri. This ain't a big city. Like that's happening. Like that.
But you're gonna tell me you want that experience for
no
the majority of restaurants that you would go out to? Because
I do not. It was the first time we ever ate there.
Yeah, I'm not knocking it.
DoorDash from there before. Yeah, I don't want that, but it's happening. I'm just using it as a point of reference. You can look up the place, Walnut Grill.
I mean, I'm saying I'm also bringing up waiters because, or like service overall because, dude, I've been on, and I'm sure you've had a recent date with your wife, or back when I was engaged. Like, dude, when I go to a restaurant, bro, I'm not going there for the food. Not all the time. Like people, dude, we're talking about people that right now, especially in our market, our economy, especially the younger generation, bro. People want to go out for experiences.
I agree. I think a lot of
even when you're out delivering, I try to make a small talk. I try to make a funny joke, or I try to take an extra step into a personal interaction with somebody. And you don't get that with these robots, which is fine. I think there's a demand for people that would rather wait a certain amount of time, however long it would be, for them to receive their food, or but there's so many details, and something I think that gets knocked so much on YouTube is when DoorDash asks if everything is in the bag. I show up to a restaurant, and there's times I ask them, I'm like, hey, did you get this? Everything's in the bag? That's a critical part, because as a third-party company, they can't rely entirely on the restaurant. And I think they're giving us that autonomy. They're saying, hey, man, make sure everything's in the bag. Now, should they pin it on us if everything's not in the bag and I show up to a sealed bag? Sure. But everyone's so quick to knock the steps of service that make this, that gives you that $15 tip, that $20 tip every now and then, ever so often. Or did you lose me? Did I lose you guys? No.
Just for a second.
Your
the
video.
other thing too, man, is like, I don't think, like,
AMC, you might want to reconnect. I think we're losing you, man.
Yeah, your video.
Yeah, let me. Yeah, he's frozen. Let me move him off.
Hey, but
Back.
hey,
But
let me.
you also got to kind of look at the situation now. Look at Walmart, for example. Remember, Walmart went all to self checkout, but guess what? Walmart's gone back to. They're going back to the cashiers. So yeah, it might work for a temporary service, but like AMC say, people want the service, and really, as gig workers or humans in general, should we even be wanting to push some shit like this? Shouldn't we be fighting back against it?
Because, well, how do we? You know, we're not the decision makers, right? Well, we decide with our spending. However, we're not the ones that have these companies, and we're not investors necessarily. Some of us might be on some level, but my point is, how do we fight back this? Because it's happening. I mean, I see it. I've seen it in real time. I've talked to some individuals. For me, I think in my lifetime, I'll just say 20 years from now, there's going to be a lot more robots. And in some levels, it's going to be similar to the iRobot, the Will Smith movie. I mean, these robots are in other parts of the world already. They're going to start coming to America. Mostly, y'all seen there's sex robots. I mean, robots, it's a thing, and people are purchasing them. And I believe as it becomes more popular or more normalized, the cost of it will go down. Supply demand, like that will happen. So, I'm not like scared that, I'm not going to be able to make money because I'm not doing this work 20 years from now, right? But my point and what I think, and part of the conversation is, how different do we really think it'll look? I think it will look pretty different. I think we're still going to have a need for delivery drivers on a whole, and because there's a lot of things that need a human touch. But even if it's just 25% of the opportunity gone, that's a lot. That's billions of dollars that are now not going into our pocketbooks as a whole, as a collective, right? So that's just, that's what I think about it. I think it's coming. I think some people.
I feel like with the autonomous cars, I feel like if they do go full autonomous, I think every vehicle has to be autonomous for it to work properly. I think they're gonna have to take all human beings from driving because it'll make the cars. You get me? It'll make things more streamlined. Everything, you get what I'm saying? Cars will stop properly. I don't think, because by you having the human being aspect out there, like you said, people walk across the street, other human beings being able to drive fast or not pay attention, it's gonna mess up the autonomy. So I feel like you gotta take the human being aspect. Everybody got no more self-driving cars. I mean, no more manually driving cars. We'll stop selling those. Now you may see that come out. I feel as though that's when you may see autonomy as far as with the food, because it's not gonna, you're giving them accidents and things that these things are gonna get into problems that they can't deal with.
I think personally it's just too expensive. I think it's going to be too expensive. There's too much liability. Like, what would have happened, let's say,
if one ran over somebody?
The reason why I would like a Uber driver, if I get in an accident with the Uber driver, there's somebody that can help me if I'm injured or something. Like, you don't have that in a regular car. You know what I'm saying? You got these cars that are heavily batteried. You've seen Teslas blow up and shit when they get in accidents. Could you imagine the liability of something like that? Let's say you would have gotten a wreck in your Waymo car. There's nobody there to help you. Who's going to be able to get into the Waymo car? You're going to have to wait on the fire department, God forbid, however long they take anymore. We know how that shit goes. So to me, I think it's the liability and the expense is just going to be too much. They might work for now because, like you said, they're rolling it out and they're seeing, this way. But I think overall, when they try to go full blown, 200, figure how many Uber drivers do you think are in San Francisco? I mean, St. Louis right now. Just take a wild guess.
Right now, there's probably at least 100 or 200 people that have the Uber.
Yeah, so you figure that's what 100. What? Let's even go on the low number, 200,000 for a car. These companies they're always in the red as it is now. How are they going to be able to purchase $200,000 cars in hopes they're going to make enough money to make that money back? I just don't see it happening.
I think the cost, the startup cost and the operating cost of that is a good point, because it's hard. The liability, the insurance has to be carried. I'll say this though. the getting in the Waymos that I was in, you know, that I took one. They don't have they can't go to the airport, right? There's like safety issues there. So it has to drop you off kind of in the airport vicinity. Then I had to walk a couple blocks, right? Because they just can't. There's rules against it. But I was in it for about 45, 50 minutes. I felt just as safe as if a driver was driving, because we got to understand, like, we have human error, you know, like some drivers aren't good drivers. Robots can have accidents. We've seen that on the news. I've seen robots, the Waymos, and getting accidents. But I don't think it's any more than an Uber driver getting in an accident. I feel like I'm just as susceptible being hurt by somebody driving and hitting the Waymo, or I mean, hitting an Uber driver, or Uber driver hitting something, as if a Waymo was going to hit something. I think the numbers point to that as well. So I think you got a good point, though, about the money, right? So how are they going to figure out to pay for it? And I think one way they do that is they lower our pay. You know, we're delivering there's millions and millions of orders every single day. Even if they just shave off pennies or dollars per order, or if they steal a tip, or if they do this, that's how they're, you know, these companies, they say they're not making money. Bullshit. They're making money. They're Uber's came out last year. They started making money last year. Like, they've invested their profits from years before. That's why on the P&L might not look like that. But these companies are making money, okay? But they're just reinvesting it into the future so that they can make more money 10, 20 years from now. You know, they become trillion-dollar companies, right? That's how I look at it. But it's a good point, because I think they're very expensive. I mean, it's not, it doesn't make sense almost, right? Where do they get the money? Well, I don't know. They got this investor, they got this stolen tip, that, you know, before you know it, here's $20 million. Let's go to downtown Austin and see if we can make something happen there, you know, and maybe they'll be successful, maybe they won't, but they're trying for sure, you know, to replace us on some level. So not
for nothing, not to change the subject, but like I told you, I took the challenge, man. I'm signed up.
That. Yeah, let's talk.
I signed up, man. I'm got my first order with delivered, man, tomorrow.
That's fantastic, man.
You get what I'm saying? I signed up with Instacart, but they got me on the wait list still. So
okay.
But I'm all in with delivery. I told you, bro. It took a lot. I had to email these people. I email I had to email Yatsky or whatever the hell they use, and I had to email what do they call themselves right now? Not delivered.
Expedite. Yeah.
To get through. It took like 3 weeks for me because they put my account on hold. It was a whole. This is what I was trying to tell you. It was very discouraging. These things, but I because of you, I was like, listen, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How much is the order paying you tomorrow?
$25.
Okay, so the time that you're gonna spend on that order, that's like a really good DoorDash order. Is that fair to say?
I know. Yes, that's why I took it. On top of that, it's not gonna take me no longer than an hour.
That's what I'm saying. So you're just by doing that one order, you're probably ahead, because you probably would be doing a $6, $7, maybe a $10 DoorDash. Instead, you're doing a $25. You're already ahead. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm gonna. And the thing is, they got the tiers and stuff. So basically, I'm gonna be taking, so I can get it. I'm gonna be dealing with the app the same way I dealt with DoorDash. You get what I'm saying? To get to wherever I need to get to, so we can see, more profit. You get what I'm saying? Because it's an opportunity that's good. It's a great feeling. Yeah. I'm not trying to change the subject or nothing like that. But
I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad you brought it up. There's not much more to say about robots. It is what it is.
Yeah.
To me, it's just interesting because I hear people talk about it, and I went to California, downtown LA. Like, I've seen it firsthand, and what they're trying to do, what looks really ridiculous. I've seen some ridiculous robots, y'all, like really look like really ridiculous. I've seen them work in real time. Like, I've seen them, and it looks weird. And I'd rather have a human touch. I'm like Roy and you guys, and like, I like to go out to eat. I want a human person. I'd rather get in a Uber than a Waymo, but like, I do like to test things out just to have like the firsthand knowledge to see, hey, is this full of shit or is it okay? And I just think at some point, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to certain things, and I do believe there are some individuals, companies, entities, they want to replace the labor of humans in some capacity because it helps them long term. I believe that. People can have a different argument for that, but I believe that's at play with some companies.
Yeah, and on that challenge Manny was talking about, I'm still on my challenge winning. Haven't taken a DoorDash order in over a year and a half. Yeah, I'm still winning that challenge.
I haven't taken a DoorDash in about 15 months, Roy. So.
But look, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm pro DoorDash. You guys know that about me. I gotta be honest. That's why I was gonna change the subject to that too, because your last video that you put out, you were saying a lot of things, and I don't know if you see me, but I commented on that thing, boy. Listen to me. People, the number one thing about the gig economy that people don't understand, that this is a delivery service. You are a delivery person. You deliver. I don't care which app. You deliver people, boxes. I don't care. You deliver. So there are a lot of people that don't get it, but there are a lot of people that do transition well into this. A UPS person, anybody that works for any type of mail carrier will understand this. Taxi cab drivers will understand this. Anyone who does any type of delivery for any company like a Bad Cop, Brandsmart, Lowe's. These people will trend because they get it already. They're in that field. They understand delivery. And that's the number one thing people don't understand, that, you got to understand that this is a delivery service. Once you jump into this, everyone's going, oh, I'm making, $150 today. Oh, this is good money. But you're not understanding, like, you're in the delivery business. That's why I was saying, like, when I keep telling people I went into my 401k, I went into my 401k to service my vehicle, because it's the same thing you will have to do if you was in the delivery business. You have to go out there, find a truck, whatever suits the delivery. You have to make sure that vehicle will be fixed, running properly. You have to put on whatever attachment, maybe a lift gate, lights, whatever you have to put on there to make that vehicle certified for whatever you're going to do. Same thing with your vehicle. If you're going to sit up here and make your vehicle your mode of duty for this, you got to make sure that car is running right. So the main thing I did, I went and I got my brakes did. I did a tune-up. I got the oil change. What else I did to my car? I serviced it fully.
You spent money. You spent money on what's making you money.
Yeah, and if you don't initially do that, you don't buy yourself any time. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that people don't get about this. They're just trying to make an extra buck, but there's a lot that goes into it. So, and that's all I was trying to get at when I'm saying, like, I understand it a lot more. That's why I can do it the way I do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand it. Like, I bought myself time. Also, you do have to, that's why I say it's a lot like a business, because you got to put up for the hard times. A lot of people jump into this business in the slow period and going, oh, I'm not getting no orders. It's a slow time. You don't know that, though. It's a lot of little things. I didn't want to change the whole subject, but your last video you put out right before you said you were going live was this, and that was on my mind heavy. I thought the video, this whole live was going to be about that, but you changed it up with the robot thing. Yeah. But boy, I was ready. Boy, I was ready for you.
Manny, I appreciate what you're saying, and Roy can probably chime in. Roy's been doing this kind of work longer than I have, because I think, Roy, you did Lyft, right? Like before.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, so I've only been in it for 5 years, but like
I've been in the same amount you've been in it.
Yeah,
5 years.
My point is, I think, like, I offered you that challenge, and I offered many people challenges on my channel. Some take it, some don't. Most don't, Manny, right? So the fact that you got, hey, you're waiting on Instacart, you got on Expedite, you got to order tomorrow. Most people don't do that because they are lazy, right? That do this kind of work, and they just expect things without having to do the work, right? You said you got frustrated. It took 3 weeks. I got an email. Most people don't do that. So your hustle is different than most, right? And
understood.
That's a good thing. But I know, in meeting as many people as I've met doing this, managing restaurants, most servers that I managed weren't great. They were just okay, right? But the great ones are going to be the ones that make the good money. Everybody else is in the middle, and then your bottom performers don't last but a couple of months or a couple of weeks. So, like, separate yourself, and you're doing that, and that's great. But most won't do that, and they'll just stay in this line of work, and then they got nothing to show for it after a few years. You know.
Well, I think most people won't take your challenge because they get comfortable. It's like anything. You're doing something, you get comfortable. And then you got everybody on YouTube. You got this YouTuber saying it sucks balls. This one says it's great. This one says it's okay. So you're getting so many different points of view. And it's like, okay, well, why do I want to sign up? This guy says it's bad. This one says good. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? So I think they just get too comfortable in what they're doing. And I think that's what hurts most gig workers. These people that think they're going to make a living off one or two apps at this point in the game might have worked back in my days when I did Lyft. I could make $70,000 a year doing 35 hours a week on Lyft. Wasn't even an issue. I could do that.
Can't do that now.
But you ain't doing that now. Like, so, you know, back in the days, now it's the more you have in your arsenal, the more money you're going to make. I'm sorry. You're not going to, everybody, DoorDash sucks. Well, why are you only doing DoorDash when you got 35 other apps at your disposal? So if these people would want to keep complaining they're not making money, that's because you don't have it in your arsenal, and you need to get it in your arsenal, because that's the only way you're going to make money anymore. And you're going to have to be willing to do some shit you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, check it. This is how the Sunday went. I woke up 5 o'clock in the morning. I went and did laundry. After I did laundry, 9 o'clock, I was inside Jiffy Lube getting my oil changed. At 10:15, I was at the tire company. I got 2 brand new tires put on the front of my car. At 11:45, I was out there on the road, all my laundry in my car, and I've been out there since, and I stayed out there till 9 o'clock today. $225. So I don't know. You get what I'm saying? That's how it went for me. So I don't know, you know, and on a Sunday, and I came off the road for the live.
So Manny, you were ready to come up here and bitch at me about the video I made today. So
no, man, just, you know, I just wanted to make sure, you know my mindset. You know how I feel about this thing, you know. And I'm not just talking about DoorDash, because someone came inside Chipotle and they were working their butt off, and I was like, they were doing Uber, and I was like, when I did Uber, it's the same thing. I have the same type of preaching about Uber. If you come to me with that nonsense, like you can't make money on Uber no more, like the rideshare, you're crazy. You just don't know what you're doing. Number one thing you got to do with that rideshare is get up early in the morning. You got to get up 3 o'clock in the morning. Do the airport rides. I'm not gonna do. That's what you have to do. If you're not getting up 3 o'clock in the morning, you ain't trying to make no real money.
I'll tell you, 3 years of doing Lyft, I did not do airport. I can't stay in the airport. Fuck the airport.
No, not going to the airport, doing airport rides.
No, I don't take airport rides. I think out of my whole 3 years, 12.
How many have you done? How many did you
12,500 rides that I did with Lyft. I probably did 5 airport runs. That was it. I don't like.
Is it because it's too busy?
Telling me
it's hard to get out, or
it's just to me, it's just pain in the ass. First of all, I'm not your butler. I don't feel like loading up no, fucking, bags and stuff. I don't feel like doing all that.
Wait. So okay. Wait, Roy. You're telling me you could have made a whole lot more money than what you made, but you chose not to. Because
that's not necessarily true.
Listen, hold on. If you get up 3 o'clock in the morning, let me just give you an understanding of how it works here in Florida.
Well,
I would get up 3 o'clock.
It might be
3 o'clock in the morning. I would get up and ride 45 minutes, and I'm not lying to you, 45 minutes away from the major airport. I'm not joking with you, okay? When you get up and you go 45 minutes away, whatever ride you get at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning is going to the airport. How far are you away? That's a 45-minute ride. That's at least $45 to $50 one ride.
But see, I live from my airport. I live maybe 12 miles max. So it's not the same because you're just in a different market and stuff like that. So, but no, I'll throw away the money. I don't want to deal with the drama of dealing with the police at the airport, dealing with the other drivers at the airport, having to wait to get out because you got to go through the gates. You got to do this. Customers are dumb. They don't know where they're going. They don't know, okay, if I put Terminal 3, Terminal 1, they'll put Terminal 3 and they're actually at Terminal 1. So now you got to go around the whole goddamn airport to re-enter. So I'd give that money away. I'd rather I was hanging out downtown on the strip, you know, making $15, $20 rides, 2 blocks to this hotel, 2 blocks to that hotel.
Yeah.
So it was worth it doing that. So
you know who doesn't mind doing those airport runs? Robots, when they're allowed to. They don't care. They got no thought, right? A drone don't care. A robot don't care. It's always accept. It's always accept. You know, like
more power to
they
Oh
can
man,
listen.
I only did 10 rides a day. 10 to 12 rides a day. That's all I did. Every day I only did 12 rides. Every ride was $25 or better. I never did a $6. I never did a $6 ride, never did a $10 ride, never, ever. Never did an $8 ride, never did a $15, never.
Oh, I did plenty of $6, $8 rides.
Never. I did. And I never had an issue with a ride because the people that get in the car with me pay $65, $60, $50, and they're not joking. You get it?
Yeah,
when people pay $75 for a ride, they're professional as heck. You get me? So I never had a throw up. I never had a person cuss me out. Everybody was professional. The only thing I ever had was somebody trying to rush because they were late.
Where you at again?
Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
And how many rides do you think? How many rideshare rides have you done?
Oh well, I did it for like a year. So I don't know. I have to go back in. I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't done that in, like.
I used to have, man, so many issues. I did a lot of, when I started, I did late night though. Roy's probably got way more.
I never did late night. I did
12,500 rides in 3 years.
Yeah, so Roy's seen it all, I'm sure. Rideshare is a different beast. Rideshare is way more difficult than food.
Yeah, it's compared to food delivery, it's night and day. It's totally different. And here in Vegas, it's cool. Here in Vegas is cool. You get tourists, so everybody's happy for the most part. Yeah, you just gotta know when you pulling up, are they gonna puke or not? I only had 2 people puke in my car out of all the people I took. So you get that eye for the pukers, bro. So you just.
But I've never had an issue. And what I'm saying to you is because I only take people going to work, coming home from work, and going to the airport. I've never taken a school. I've never taken children. I've never driven children. I've never taken a partier ever.
Oh yeah.
And because
I took it all.
Yeah. I think I worked at 6 p.m. to about 3 a.m.
Okay. I'm coming off the clock at 8 o'clock every day. I come off. I'm done. Because I get up 3 o'clock in the morning. I told you, I get up 3 o'clock in the morning, drive 45 minutes away. My first ride is going to the airport. That's one ride, $45. I get one leaving, $25.
Yeah, that's
a long day, man. Y'all, listen, you work too much. I'm old, man. I'm probably older than you.
I only work 10 hours.
That's too much, man. I'm trying to
But I'm bringing 300, 350.
I'm trying to make my money in like 7-8 hours, man. I ain't trying to be out that long. I think the longer, I want to say this. I think the longer that we work, the more we put ourselves at risk for various reasons. Whether it's just you're tired or, like driving's dangerous. I mean, I'm surprised.
It is.
I'm surprised we don't see in this community of people, that content creators and chatters and viewers, I'm surprised we haven't seen more like major accidents, because driving is dangerous, man.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's like I try to we can stay out of areas, but like driving itself it's literally the most.
That's how I got my job. That's how I got my W-2.
Yeah, and that's
I got into an accident. I got into an accident on a DoorDash. I was dashing. I told you I was dashing on the lunch times when I was Uber Rideshare. So when it's lunchtime, I start DoorDashing, and I got into an accident on US 1, and it put me out of commission for 3 months. So I went back to a regular. I was scared to drive too.
Yeah, that's why he says rideshare is a different beast, man, because there's huge safety. It's all surrounded by safety. A lot of people, it's a safety thing. Like, you got to worry about who the fuck you got in your car. You got to know where to make people sit. You got to set your rules and stick by your rules. That's how I did 12,500 rides. I didn't have any dash cam. I had none of that. I was able to do it all without that, just by being smart about who I'm picking up, where I'm picking up from, just using your fucking brain. Don't sit here. Don't sit there. that safety is number one in rideshare. Unfortunately, you know, we see people getting killed doing it. It's like any job, you got risks, but that's why it takes a different beast. It takes a different beast, you know. I don't seem like the kind of person that will get along well with a lot of people, but I love doing rideshare. If I could get back into it, I would do it in a heartbeat. I love this shit.
When I did it, man, Roy, man, it was, I take the risk out of it, and you can't. But like, if I could, I would rather pick people up and take them to work, or take them out, or take them here, or take them there, or take them to the doctor appointment. To me, that's more valuable than delivering somebody some McDonald's.
Yeah,
it just did, or catering order. Like, I feel like, and I like meeting new people. Like, I loved it, man. And it was very rewarding until it became like, do I really want to be doing this, especially at night? St. Louis, sometimes some neighborhoods aren't really safe. Like, yeah,
it's a huge educational eye opener too. You learn so much, especially here in Vegas. You were picking up people. I picked up people from Russia, Australia. I picked up people from Africa. I picked up people from everywhere. So you learn all the different cultures. So you learn the way they think. So, you know, the next person gets in your car, let's say from this area, you know how they're going to react. So you know how to talk to them without offending them, all that crazy shit. And it's so cool because you learn so much. Americans live in this bubble. They don't even know what's going around them in the world. And when you do rideshare and you meet these people, you learn so much from everything.
Big time connections. You make some real serious connections with some real serious people too. As one thing about it, like you're saying, I remember that. Like, because I was doing these major, I was meeting some very highest thing, and when you're having these conversations with people, you can really find your next job through that. You can find your next connection, your next adventure in your life, through rideshare, because it's that much. You're with this. Well, I was with these people like 45 minutes. So, I was with these people like 30 minutes. So the conversations that we will have, like you were saying, sometimes you will get to know people in this 30 minutes, and then that connection you make, it's great.
You learn to be a counselor. You learn to be everything. Dead ass, dude. Dead ass. You
never lie.
That's the greatest part, man. It makes you think sometimes when you pick up certain people, you think, damn, my life ain't that bad. Listen to
that's right.
My life ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it better than this motherfucker does.
I've definitely had. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all giving me some time. I wanted to talk about the topic just to get other people's perspective on it and share the insights. Roy, Manny, AMC was on earlier. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna round the show out. But gentlemen, have a great rest of your Sunday night.
Do the same, man.
Have a great week coming up, guys.
It's always a pleasure, bro. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate
you guys later. Have a good one, Manny.
All right. Yeah, so listen, robots, I don't have these topics to scare y'all or think I'm right, you're wrong. Like, they're coming, like, they're here. It's not that they're coming or not. They are here. It's happening right now. Somebody is in a Waymo. Somebody is getting a drone delivery. Somebody is pulling food right as we speak out of a little robot on the curbside. It's happening right now. It just happened again right now. Somebody just walked into a Waymo right now. Somebody just got out of a Waymo right now. Like, it's happening, And I think some people would say, yeah, we're supposed to have these flying cars by this. And, we watch these old movies and we're supposed to be having this. And like, our imagination sometimes doesn't catch up to the reality of what we can buy or pay for or design or implement or what regulations will be approved. Like, but it's happening right now. And the way that I see things and how the decision makers and the rich people and the people with the money and the manipulators of commerce, they want to continue to make more money. And a big part of that is making us make less money, making us having to continue to work or get a second or third job because we just lost an opportunity. Let me tell you like this. 10 years from now, a big part of your food delivery earnings are taken away. Your opportunities are taken away for various reasons. What are you going to do? Can't just stop working and making money. You'll probably stay in the food delivery game still, but then you're going to go get another job, another side hustle. The person that owns that job or the investors of that job or that company you're working for, they're making more money than you. They're employing you. So now you have to have a second, third, or fourth job when 10 years ago you only had to have one or two. That's the trend. Think about 50 years ago. 50 years ago. 60 years ago. Okay? You can even just go back 40 in the 80s. A lot of people were able to buy homes. Dad or mom had one job. Dad had a job. Mom stayed home with the kids. Able to pay the bills, down payment for a home. Inflation and things weren't what they are right now. Cost of living, a lot better on one income. One. What happened? Things became more expensive. Now mom's got to get a job. Now you got two income households that can't even survive. When in the 80s, 70s, 60s, one job. What changed? Companies got even more greedy. They wanted more. So we, just to survive, had to do more. Another job, another hustle, a side job, a side gig, a this, a that. I'm telling y'all, it's still happening. Manny with the $5. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. You got that catering order tomorrow. I appreciate you tipping me the $5 for the tips. But listen, I really believe it's happening. I listen to other people talk about these kind of things that are way more knowledgeable and in the now about that kind of topics, and what they say makes sense to me. And when I compare it to other things historically that have happened to the job sectors that are similar to this or even different, but really it's just a way in how we live and survive and the opportunities that we have in some ways a lot more opportunities right now than we've ever had. But they're not paying what they were paying back in the day. That's why there's more. They want us to work harder for the same dollar. And the cost of everything is going up. Inflation didn't get better, y'all. The cost of eggs ain't better. Ground beef costs more than ever before. Gasoline always is up and down, but these things are going to continue to cost money. The cost of rent's gone up everywhere. The cost of housing has gone up everywhere. All we're going to have to do is work harder for that. And another thing we're going to have to deal with 5-10 years from now, robots. And that will force a lot of us, people that do this kind of work, it's going to force us into staying, but working less because we don't have the opportunity, and into getting another hustle. So stay ahead of it. These dreams aren't designed to scare you out of doing this or scare you into doing that. Just think about it. Be thoughtful. Be like Manny. You take a challenge, you figure out some things. Maybe you're frustrated, but hey, he's got a $25 catering tomorrow. It's great. Maybe on Thursday it'll be a $60. Maybe it'll be another $20. But it's an opportunity. Because when a company or entity or whatever, if somebody takes something from you, it's up to us, you and I, independent contractors, free thinkers, to replace that and find the next hustle so you can always provide for you and yours and whatever you got going on, right? Because, it's one thing to complain and give up and, I'm not ever going to do that. I might lose this app I'm always going to be fine. Because it's a mindset as well. Mindset Manny, as he says it, right? It's a mindset. But the mindset has to have, at least in my opinion, a level of awareness, excuse me, and reality of what's happening around us so that our decision makings can be done with purpose, and we can be moving in the right directions. So I appreciate y'all, everybody that came up on the show tonight. Couldn't get everybody in tonight, but I didn't want the stream to be really, really long. I have personally a long day tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get a decent night's sleep tonight. If you're around friends or family or anybody that you love right now, give them a hug and let them know that you love them tonight. You never know, that might change their day. I appreciate each and every one of you. Back with some more content tomorrow, and I will be back with another live stream next Sunday. See you then.